Hello, welcome to COVID-19 online delivery. Hopefully we can continue our learning through this method and just please know I'm here for you if you have any questions. So today's lecture is going to be on the law of independent assortment, dihybrid crosses. So we'll take a look at those as you read and make flashcards for Monday's assignment. So we'll start with the definition of the law of independent assortment that's in your book. It states two or more genes assort independently. So when we're talking about two different genes, two different traits, they can sort independently during gamete formation. This is referring to question number 15 in your study guide, and then we'll move to question 16 also. So if you take a look at this sheet that you got, this is a picture that represents chromosomes. Not the real thing, they're just representing it. So we have 22 chromosome pairs, these are the autosomes, and then we have the sex chromosomes. So if you are male, you have an X and a Y. If you're female, you're an X and an X. So these bands don't represent genes, but they're just sections that stain differently. So they're bands in there. But we're going to pretend that there's a gene on chromosome 1 and a gene on chromosome 2. The gene on chromosome 1 is the ability to roll your tongue. And the gene on chromosome 2 is whether you have dimples or not. Mm-hmm. So if you would take your picture, the chromosomes that you had, I asked you to take two different colors. So one color is going to represent you, and the other color is going to represent your future mother or father of your children. So in your set of chromosomes that represent you, you got those chromosomes from your parents. So there's a chromosome set number 1. There's 2 of them. One's from mom, one's from dad. So to help you keep them straight, put your father's name and your mother's name on there. So my dad's name's Jack, my mom's name's Rita. So I got chromosome 1 from Jack and I got a chromosome 1 from Rita, and putting those two together, it makes me. So same with you, one from your mom, one from your dad, and those two together make you. So that's your set of chromosome 1. Chromosome 2, do the same for mom and dad and chromosome 2. And then if you look, we're going to make up these genes. So I don't know where the tongue roll gene is found. We could look it up online. But chromosome 1, I have T's here to represent the tongue roll gene. So on chromosome 1 is the tongue roll gene. The big T is the dominant allele. So if you have a big T, that means you have the ability to roll your tongue. And the little t represents the recessive allele, where there's no ability to roll the tongue. And of course, you have 2 chromosomes, one from mom, one from dad. One allele, 2 alleles represent that one gene. So you can put in any alleles you want. If you can't roll your tongue, you might want to use 2 little t's, one from mom, one from dad. And if you can roll your tongue, you have at least one big T, or you can just make something up. So I have big T and little t on my chromosomes representing the tongue roll.
Can you give us an example of the tongue roll?
Sure, I have a picture of it right here.
Thank you.
Maddie.
Hey.
Get to my example here.
Very
All right, so
nice.
if you can roll your tongue versus if you can't. Okay, thanks,
Thank
Maddie.
you.
All right, dimples. Dimples. If you have dimples, we're going to pretend they're on the chromosome, the second chromosome. So you have 2 alleles, one from mom, one from dad, and so you would represent the letters there to whatever you want to make up. I have a big D and a little d to represent the dimples. So if you look here on dimples, found on chromosome 2, the big D is the dominant allele. That means no dimples. The little d is the recessive allele, dimples. So if you have dimples, for example, you might want to put 2 little d's, one from mom, one from dad, to show that you have dimples. If you don't have dimples, you can put a big D, at least one big D, or you can put a big D, little d, as I have represented here. So these are just for you to explore and experiment as we look at dihybrid crosses in these 2 genes. So to get started then, we have a genotype here. When you put these together, these two genes together, there's our genotype. So if we write that down, there, chromosome 1 is a big T, little t, and chromosome 2 has a big D, little d. So that is all of that is the genotype for you. And your phenotype is represented by your physical appearance. So if you have a big T, little t, you would be able to roll your tongue. And big D, little d, a big D is no dimples, so that is the dominant trait. So there represents the phenotype. Ability to roll the tongue, but no dimples. Okay, so this, when the eggs or sperm are produced from this type of genotype, the T's and the D's separate from each other. So if we look over back at our chromosomes, and you model this for yourselves too, the T's separate from each other and the D's separate from each other. So that means that in the egg or sperm, the big T can join up with the big D to form all the chromosomes set 1, 2 through 23, or that big T can join up with a little d to have all the set of the 23 chromosomes. The little t, go back to the other T that can be found on the second chromosome, can form with the big D, or it can combine with the little d. So those are all of the possible sex cells that can be made with this genotype. Big T, big D, little d. All right, so if you want to write those down, big T, big D is one possible egg type or sperm type. So there's an egg. Big T can also combine with the little d. So there's another possible egg type. It's supposed to be an egg there. The little t can combine with the big D, or that little t can combine with the little d. So these represent the 4 possible gametes, which is another name for the sex cells. And you probably have a flashcard made of that one already. So you notice that each cell has 1 T and 1 D. 1 T, 1 D. But they're either dominant or recessive depending on the different combinations. Now we'll throw a little math at this too. We've got the visual showing how that works. But if you put the word foil with it, you might have learned this in math. The first two of the different genes. The first big T, the first big D. Outsides. Outside, outside. Big D, big T, little d. Insides, little t, little d. And the last, little t, little d. And that's also a quick way to do it if you don't have the chromosome papers cut out in front of you. So I've got the same outcome here, showing all the possible combinations. So if you get this part in dihybrid crosses, you've got it. You've got it figured out.